What's going on, YouTube? Just back out here in the garage today. I haven't made a video in a little while, so I figured I'd come out in the garage and make a quick little video for you. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to lube and clean your motorcycle chain. With that being said, we'll just jump over onto the bike and we'll get started with the process of doing that. I think that I'm going to end up doing it on my 2022 Yamaha MT-10. But this process is the same for any motorcycle with the chain, whether the CC or whatever. So yeah, so with that being said, let's jump over to the bike. All right, well, I mean, so obviously there's a bunch of benefits to doing cleaning your chain and to lubing it. The obvious one and probably the most important one is that you're gonna get a lot longer life expectancy out of your chain if you keep it clean. I see guys riding all the time and their chains are absolutely disgusting, right? You know, there's so much grime on it, dust, whatever it is, road grime, you know, oils and whatnot. So it's a highly important thing that should be done on a motorcycle. As I said, you're gonna get longer life out of it. You know, you can get little kinks in the chain if you don't lube it and clean it, and yeah, so it's probably also a safety thing, because if you start getting kinks in your chain, then you never know, one day it might snap or fall off your sprocket, who knows, right? So, and I mean, also it looks a lot better when you clean your chain and actually makes you look like you care about your motorcycle. So yeah, so it's a pretty simple process. I mean, so some of the stuff that I use, obviously I use a rear stand. I choose to use Motul chain cleaner. This is the one that I found to be the best for me. There's many different ones out there and I'm sure they all work the same. This is just the one that I've always used. And then I like this Maxima Racing Oils chain wax, just the one that I've been using forever. And it's always worked really well for me. So yeah, so just gonna jump onto the bike here and we'll start applying some of the chain clean here. Also, the other thing you might want to grab yourself is one of these fancy little brushes here. They work really well. So yeah, and the other thing too is you're obviously going to want a rag to wipe everything down afterwards. So yeah. All right, so I'm just going to get some of this chain cleaner on the chain now. Another thing I like to do is I like to put a piece of cardboard underneath of the area where I'm working. It's obviously going to get all over your floor. I don't have a piece of cardboard right now, so I'm just gonna clean it up with some brake clean afterwards just to get it off the floor. Don't want my garage floor looking completely disgusting. Yeah, so I just spray on the inside here and get the chain all nice and cleaned up. Well, not lubed up. Get the chain clean all over it. I like chains that have a different colored rivet on it, and that way you can tell if you've already gone around. The other thing too is you don't really want to spray it all over your tire, and if you do, just make sure that you wipe everything off afterwards. And obviously on your exhaust, because some exhausts run a little bit closer and you might get it all over your exhaust as well. So make sure you wipe that off before you start it, else it's going to stain it. All right, so I like to let that sit for a little while. The other thing too is I'll spray on the outside of here as well, just to clean the outside of the chain. You just want to douse it and give it a good spraying, and also just let this stuff sit for a couple minutes anyway. Oh, I really wish I had some cardboard. It's gonna make a mess. It's a messy job, but it's gotta be done. Yeah, so I just let the chain cleaner sit for a little bit to break down the grease and the grime that's on the chain. And then after that, I tend to go through with my little brush here and start scrubbing the dirt away. All right, I'm gonna let that sit for a minute. I'll be right back. All right, well, the chain clean has had a good few minutes to soak in. So now I'm just gonna go through with my fancy little brush here that I picked up at one of my local bike shop stores. You can order these on the internet. There's a bunch of different ones that you can get. But this is just the one they had, and I've had this for a couple years now and it's still going strong. So definitely a good tool to have to clean your chain. So I just like to start on the inside of the chain, and I just go back and forth to help break up all the grime and the grease and whatnot. So I just work just this section at a time, and then keep working that in. I don't like to push up right here because then it hits my swing arm. If the chain was a little tighter, it probably wouldn't hit the swing arm. I just don't want to be doing this back and forth on my swing arm to scratch it. So I tend to do the outside of the chain at the back of the sprocket, or somewhere where it doesn't, you know, push up as much where I'm going to run into my swing arm. Right, so I just like to do a little section at a time, and then I'll look at one of the links, and then I will move the chain and follow the link along until it gets just over to here, and then I'll work on that section right there. And just work it all in. Get all the little elbow grease, goes a long way. Yet again, follow the chain link along, and then just stop over here. It's kind of hard to tell if you've gone all the way around, you know. You'll be able to tell where you've scrubbed and you haven't scrubbed. All right, so that's the process that I do for cleaning the inside of the chain. As I said, for the outside of the chain, I like to do it right here, or I'll come back around to the back of the chain, and then that's where I'll do it. So I'm just gonna off camera finish cleaning the inside, and then I'm gonna do the bottom of the chain, or yeah, the bottom of the chain as well. Don't need to bore you with the whole thing, but this is just the process that I do with it. Okay, so I got the inside of the chain all clean now, and now I'm just gonna go out here to the outside of the chain, and I'm gonna hold my brush right here. There's a whole bunch of dirt that you can see in between the links of the chain and kind of on the edge where it rides along the sprocket. So I'm just gonna sit here, hold my tool on the chain, and just rotate my rear sprocket. And I find this is a good way to do it. You can switch direction too. A little hard to hold this on here sometimes, but and the bristles on the thing kind of get the edge of the sprocket where the chain doesn't touch as well, so that's kind of nice. Because the other thing that I do is I'll go through with a rag at the bottom of the chain here where I can access it, and I'll get all the grease off of the sprocket as well. So I'm just going to do that. So yeah, just keep going around your chain. Give it a couple good rotations. And it seems like it's doing pretty good work. Your hands are going to get really dirty doing this because the little bristles flick around and throw chain cleaner everywhere. So if you want to wear a pair of gloves doing this, help keep hands clean. It can be kind of hard to get chain lube off your hands. It's sticky. All right, so there's that done. I'm just gonna go around with a rag and clean up the edge of the chain just down here. Oh yeah, try not to knock over my camera with my wire from my microphone. Yeah, so I'll just hold the rag here and I'll go along and, oh, you're getting a good shot of my elbow. I didn't set the camera up in the most ideal spot today. Try not to get a shot of my elbow in there, yes. Yeah, so I'll just rotate this around and clean off the sprocket. Yet again, another little tedious process, but you gotta get all the grease and stuff off of there. Old chain lube and road dirt. It can be as tedious or I can't speak today. I'm going to use small words. Tedious. Just be as tedious as you want to be, and you know, take your time. And all right, so there we go. That's the inside and the outside of the chain, all lubed up, not lubed up, cleaned. So the next process that I do is normally. It's a little cold out today and I don't really feel like getting the hose out. But what I normally do is I'll take the bike off the stand and I'll take the bike off the stand and I'll go outside and I'll rinse the chain off. Then I'll come in and I'll spray a little bit more chain cleaner on it. Or I'll spray a little chain cleaner on it before I go back out and rinse it off. And then I'll go through with my rag and I'll wipe everything down dry. And once everything's all dry, then I can go ahead and start putting some lube back on the chain. Another thing that I like to do is right here, where the sprocket is for the final drive out of the transmission. I like to take this cover off right here. Most bikes have a cover on here for safety. And I'll go in here, I'll take all the shifter off, I'll take off the cover, and I'll get in there and I'll clean up the whole area inside there, because I normally do it a couple times a season. So I'll do it at the end of the season, midway through or whatever, because a lot of dirt and a lot of grime get in there. Obviously it depends where you ride. You know, so if you're going down to a beach or something, you're definitely gonna get a lot of stuff in there. I used to live close to a beach, and I would go down there on a regular basis, and I went down there one day just after a rain, and it was just covered in sand in there. So, you know, spinning parts and sand, it's definitely going to do some damage, so it's nice to clean that up in there. Yeah, so as I said, you just want to go give your chain a rinse with some water and dry it off afterwards, and then after you dry it off is when you want to put your lube on. So I'm just going to stop the camera here, finish giving this thing a cleanup. You know, the quick and dirty way to do this is you can obviously just use the chain cleaner. It doesn't say on the bottle, I don't think, to rinse it off. You can just go through and wipe everything down. And that's one way of doing it. I call that the quick and dirty method, but normally I like to use water to get rid of all the grime. So yeah, so I'm just going to finish doing a clean here, and then we'll apply some lube. Okay, so we got the chain all nice and clean. It's looking really good. Almost looks brand new again. Yeah, I said it's a really tedious process, but I mean, it can take a little time to get clean, especially if it's really dirty. But the more often you do it, you know, the less you have to spend doing this on a regular basis, right? So if you do it, you know, every few rides or whatever and whatnot, it's your chain stays really good, and I mean, it's a lot easier to clean. So obviously the next process is to put some lube on the chain. A lot of times that I'll see guys just absolutely dousing their chain with lube. My opinion, and what I think makes the most sense to me, is that I'm gonna apply the lube on the inside of the chain, right? I see guys spraying it on the outside of the chain and just soaking everything. The one thing you got to think about a chain rotating around is that if you have lube on the outside, it's more likely that as it goes around the sprocket, it's just going to fly everywhere, right? So as your chain's going around right here, right, it's just going to fly lube everywhere, right? So at least if the lube has the ability to start in the center, that it moves through the chain, you know, and lubes everything up, and then you'll get a little bit less spray. I used to lube the outside of the chain too, and I was wondering, why is my rim so dirty all the time? And it was just an absolute nightmare to keep my rim clean. And then I started jumping over to just doing the inside of the chain, and I obviously get way less lube on the outside of my rim. So yeah, just a little tip. It doesn't need to be on the outside, because as the chain heats up, and especially with wax-based products, you know, the lube is going to seep itself through and into all the different crevices, and, you know, lube the chain up for you. So yeah, so I'm just going to put a little bit of lube on the chain. And then, yeah, so I'll just show you the process to do that. I just tend to spray right here with the rag underneath, and then I rotate the tire and get the whole entire chain. Yeah, so basically the same process before. I'll just work in a section, and then I'll watch the link and rotate the tire until it gets over here, do that section, and just keep going through the chain. It works a little bit better when you have one of your little sticks on there. I actually don't know where mine went. Kind of sucks, because it is a little bit more difficult to get in there. Hopefully I don't spray myself here. I mean, it'd make for good content. Just trying to get the cap off, put the other cap back on. All right, anyway, yeah, so if you have your little stick, obviously makes things a lot easier to do. Don't know where mine went. So yeah, I can't really get under there, so I'm just gonna work in this little section here. I like to block the tire with my rag so that I don't douse the chain with chain lube. So yeah, just start over here, get a nice coat on the chain like that. You might want to use a different rag than you use to clean it. I just realized that I didn't switch out my rag, and I don't know if I have another one. So obviously it's a good idea to maybe use a different rag, so you're not, you know, wiping off any of the wax with the cleaner that's on here, but probably not much of an issue, to be honest. All right, so I got that section done, and then I just Just move the chain over a little bit and just do a little section at a time. This stuff's got like a little bit of a goldy color to it, so as you're going around you can see where you started, so that's kind of nice. It's a little bit, and with other lubes I found that you can tell it's just a little bit more shinier so that you don't go over the whole thing again. All right, so I've been all the way around the chain. The other thing I'll do is after I'm done doing that is any excess that I got on this side of the chain, I'll just lightly hold the chain like this, and I'll go around so there's not a bunch of excess on the other side. As I said, most of the lube is sitting on this side, and then as the chain heats up and whatnot, it'll get through. And to stop it from getting on your rim and having to clean your rim every single day. Yeah, so that's the process that I do to the chain, to clean and lube my chain. There's probably a bunch of different ways that you can do it. Everybody has their own method. This is just how I do it, and I thought I'd try and show you guys how I do my chain. Yeah, so the other thing that I like to do is I like to do my chain cleaning and my chain lubing. I obviously lube my chain way more than I clean it, so I don't clean my chain every single time that I put lube on it. I'll only clean it when I notice that it's getting really, really bad. Or when I have the time to do it, obviously. As I said, the more often you do it, the less time you got to spend cleaning it. But I lube my chain if I know that I'm going out before any long ride. And I tend to do it the night before so that the chain lube has a chance to kind of dry on the chain and it's all ready to go and I don't have to worry about it in the morning. So it just spends a little bit of time and I'm not rushing in the morning, and then I can just get on the bike and go. So, and I find that it dries, and that also that helps that it doesn't splash everywhere, right? If I lube the chain right now and go for a ride, my rim's gonna be just soaked with lube. So let it soak in for a little while. Yeah, so that's just the process how I do it. I hope that it was informative for you. Yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them down in the comment below. Tell me how you do your chain lubing and cleaning, and I'm always open to hearing new tips, and it's all about the motorcycle community and how people do things, right? So I'm always open to that. So yeah, please leave a comment down below. Yeah, so thanks for watching this. And all right, well, thanks for watching. I hope the video was informative for you. Like and subscribe if you like my content. It really inspires me to make more content for you guys. And yeah, so I hope everything was informative for you. As I said before, if you have any questions or whatever, any comments, just leave them down below. If you'd like to see another video that I have, there'll be one above my head somewhere, you know, to the left or the right. I can never remember what side it's on. I think it's over to the right. But anyway, yeah, so thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.